Okay, checking my volume here. Excuse me. The first thing that I'd like you to do with your photographs is open them and then name them as Photoshop documents. So in my folder that I've just made for photos, it's on my desktop, and I have all of my different kinds here so that I know which one follows through which that I've chosen as close as I can. And I've named it photo. And then for each one of these, then I have opened it up in Photoshop, and I have named it what category I believe the image falls in. That leading lines instead of leasing lines. So all of that is there. And I've done that in Photoshop, so that's the first thing that you should do. And notice that over here I have created this as a smart object. I did that first. So I could go to image size. And remember that to create a smart object in Photoshop, you can do that right here, that you can do convert to smart object. And that lets you change the image size without doing too much distortion. It makes it kind of a vector rather than a raster. And I'd like you to make sure they're about 300 dots per inch and about 11 by 7. So let me get a new one here from my photo folder. Let's see. Passport. I'm sorry. Passport. View list. Because this folder isn't doing very good for me. And pictures and photographs and 2014, I'm not sure what that is. And then I can view those as icons. All right, so I'm just going to randomly pick one here, but this one. And I'm going to open it with Photoshop so that I can talk to you about saving it. And there's a sunset scene that I took out of my own community. So I'm going to look at the image size. Under image size is right there. And it's already at 300 dots per inch, so I'm okay. And the width and the height is okay, but let's pretend it isn't. So we're going to right click here on background, convert it to a smart object, and we'll go to image size one more time, make your resolution 300 dots per inch, and make your width about somewhere 12, 14 inches each. And then click OK. And then you're going to save as, and you're going to put it into a folder on your desktop that you are naming photo. So this one, I don't know what it falls under, so it was an example, so I'm just going to put sunset. All right. When you have all of that done, that's the first step, so that you're ready to work on your objects. Pick one that you're not totally in love with. And I think I had mine open a minute ago. Wrong Photoshop here. I think this one is my wrong. I like this building here. When I took the image, I thought that little building was very interesting, and I like the flowers and everything. I like this tree coming in, but this is really distracting. So I'm not totally in love with this as an image, so I'm going to use this as my wrong one. All right, so you want to make sure when you have that open that you can see the layers here. If you can't see the layers, you're going to come over to layers and pull down layers. And this time we're going to right click and duplicate the layer. And we're going to come back to that original and duplicate that layer each time that we do something. And notice when I duplicate it, since it was a smart object, it's going to make it a smart object. And I'm going to right click that and see if I can rasterize the layer, because we no longer need it to be a smart object. And we're going to do a different adjustment and make a new layer and have a whole variety of different adjustments. Your adjustments are all under image. So you go image, adjust, and there's some things you can adjust right here, like auto tone, auto contrast, auto color. I would rather you adjust and try making some of the color. So if we start like at brightness and contrast, and if you come to right about the middle, that's about as dark as you possibly should make it. I usually follow this curved line saying that this is about where the nature photographs said that the darkness was showing up. It's right in here where it just starts to curve. And then this is as bright as you possibly should make it. Right about here before this curves up is where that normally adjusts. And then you see that you can take this and go back and forth and choose something to make it however you want the mood and the lighting to be. So that would have been my first adjustment, and I'm going to right click it or double click it and name it levels, so I know which one it was. So that's levels, and if I look, you can see there is a difference between the original on that. All right, going back, I'm going to right click again and duplicate that layer. All right, and image to adjust. I've done brightness, contrast, levels. This is curves, and curves does the same thing, except it lets you be a little bit more, oh, I forgot to rasterize the layer so I could make a real difference. Rasterize the layer, and I'm going to try curves, adjust curves, and it lets you be a little bit more dramatic because you can go back and forth and really play with as dark as you could become, or show amount of light, show pigment, cancel. I'm on that layer, but I have levels on. So I'm going to pull it up to the top because I couldn't see what I was doing. It didn't make sense that it wasn't changing. All right, so see if I pull it down, see how dark it became. I can pull it right up and make it really light. I can make it do some pretty funky looking things with light and color and contrast with curves. And you don't have to go as far as you possibly could and push it to crazy amounts like I am here, but there may be a time where you really want to do something different, and curves will let you make that adjustment. And just for fun, so that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and do that layer very crazy as curves and mark it curves. All right, and I'm going to continue to do that. Come back to layer one. Where was my layer 0? duplicate the layer. That's step 1. Rasterize the layer. That's step 2. Put the layer on the top so we can see that new layer. And then go image adjust and come to something else here. So there's exposure. Let's do vibrant next. And vibrant just means that you are playing with the saturation. You can either totally desaturate it or make it vibrant, or completely saturated and vibrant on the colors at the other end. Okay, and you might want to try one of both so that you have both of those to work with. All right, and then that one I'm going to call vibrant. And I would like you to continue to do this until you have come and tried all the way down to equalize, that you have all those adjustments on one layer. And that would be the first step of what I'd like you to do to learn about your adjustments. And then we'll see if we can make an abstract, interesting piece from that.